This is the recording for Module 5, covering impact and outcome evaluation. I showed these slides before when I provided the evaluation overview. So the purpose, just recap, purpose of the evaluation is determined the extent to which goals and objectives are reached. So this is what we say that to be included in the impact and outcome evaluation to prove it, and determine whether the benefits created can sustain over time. So in all those benefits that you achieved immediately after projects or interventions completed, whether they can be sustained. So that's part of the outcome evaluation to prove it. Determine whether the program has caused observed effects. So this is a combination of process and impact and outcome evaluations. Without knowing how we did that, the strategy we do, without having a reasonable evaluation design that we take internal and external validity into consideration, we cannot prove that what we did caused the benefits and change that we made. And to determine what extent to which program can be generalized across settings and populations. That's a really important aspect of evaluation in order to inform future design of program and in order to allow learning from our past experience. So the design of the evaluation will impact on whether we can do that or not, by carefully choose the methods and also the including how data is collected, how target population are chosen for the study. So the 5 key questions of learning from any project program is to understand how well did we do what we said we would do. It's not just we did that, it's how well we did that. So it's about quantity and also quality as well, and what worked and what didn't work. So we looked at what we planned, can we fully implement that, and the interventions we had chosen, have they caused the same effects as desired? So what difference it made that we did this? So there's a different way of doing things. So now we have chosen a new way of piloting it. Does it work better than the models that people tested before? So now what could we do differently? That's a really important question, especially if you pilot testing an intervention, a new approach, a service model, and or even you're implementing a service improvement and restructure. Then this is not something that happens daily. So it is important that we know if we have the chance to do again, are there any areas of improvement that we can make to the design? Then what do we plan to use evaluation findings for continuous learning? Now, in order to use the evaluation findings, the design become important. We need to make sure that we collect the right amount of information to generate valid information and conclusions or learning that can be used. And then we can develop a good quality evaluation report and even publish the data and the findings so that other people can learn that from as well. And to answer these 5 key questions, and there's a lot of questions that we need to ask throughout the evaluation. So at least in the next 5 slides, you haven't seen them, but I verbally explained them, probably in the class. Some questions, at least some of the questions is important for each of these 5 key question learning, but some are relevant to impact and outcome evaluation, and those may not be relevant to impact part of the impact outcome evaluation, but form part of the process evaluation or economy evaluation that got crossed out. First is how. So how is about the descriptive of activities. How well did we do that? And if we looked at these slides, and the second last, that definitely is we looked at the achievements of projects. So part of the achievements will be achieving the immediate benefits and the long-term benefits. So this is part of the impact and outcome evaluation. And the last one indicates, although that we measuring objectives is part of the impact evaluation, but we cannot answer the question without linking to process evaluations. So this is partially is about impact evaluation. Look at the second slide, some reasons for success. So what did we do well? And majority of these questions asked is about how well we done it, and have we done it properly, and have we done it in full. So they are part of the process evaluation. But two of them, the first one, how realistic and relevant were the project goals and objectives, is part of impact and outcome that we evaluation that we may be able to answer. The next one, in what ways did the project planning process work most effectively? This is primarily a process evaluation, but it cannot be considered independently without looking at measuring the objectives and immediate benefits. The third slide, so what? And then we looked at, we done all these, then what benefit can we see? So all of these questions are here. The so what question are impact questions. So we looked at actual benefits that we achieve immediately after the intervention completed, or and maybe achieved a period of time after the intervention is completed as well. So that's including what changed as a result of the project. So it could be knowledge, attitude, skills and behavior of your target population. What changed as a result of the project for members of the target population or others. So that we will say the indirect benefits. Direct benefits are the benefits you see that you have the project bring to your target population. Indirect benefits are the benefits you bring to others. They're not target population, but other people get benefits as well. For example, the free vaccination project that we use for the second and third quiz question and answers, the target populations are academic staff. So the benefits will be at the end, they get free vaccination if the awareness or the importance, they accepted the importance of free vaccination, they will come to have the free vaccination. The one thing that they get. Second, the majority of them will be protected from flu. So by the end of the project, between the June and September, August, winter months, the chance of the likelihood of them suffering from flu infection that become lower. So this is the benefit. However, the project team themselves, the university who's going to develop this into a large long-term program, they are not the target population, but they get benefit. They actually get one of the ultimate benefits is to saving the costs. So these indirect benefits, but we cannot not to calculate them, take them into consideration, because they are the funders. So when you designing impact and outcome evaluations, you need to consider the direct benefits as detailed in the objectives and to the target population, and the direct benefits that in the long run that we can achieve to the target populations as detailed in the aim. We also need to consider all the indirect benefits that we bring to our key stakeholders. Can be the organization, can be just learning among the staff that they have more experience in doing things. And even the free vaccination project, and you have representatives from different schools to be involved in designing a project and leading a project. They develop really good project management skills, and they develop much better understanding of the university culture. So who should be involved as a representative? That's a good question to ask. Maybe those who may be taking up leadership role in the future. So this is the indirect benefits of the project. We also looked at what would any unexpected changes. So we expect this is a change, it could happen, but sometimes because the ways that we do things, sometimes they are new, and also we are using approach or intervention tested in other population or in other contexts, that the reaction or the outcome may be different in under different contexts and to different population groups. So there might be unexpected benefits or changes. So those unexpected changes could be unintended benefits or unintended negative effects. So these need to be identified as well. And is the model or approach continuing beyond the initial funding? So if we are going to pilot the project, ultimately we want the project to be accepted and to receive funding for large ongoing program, right? So just like the free vaccination project. So we want to prove this model will work, then we can have an ongoing free vaccination program in a university campus for the many years to come. So this also a long-term benefits of implementing the project. And that's indirect, but that's one of the key purposes of the project designer. So when we have the impact, then now what's the future that lies on the project? What we can do in order to use the knowledge, utilize the knowledge, and share the knowledge. So this is a number of questions here may be relevant to impact evaluation. First, what more effective methods for achieving the objectives emerge from the work? So we might have a proposed intervention and various designs, but we might have learned that some designs better than the others. So we better to invest more in certain design rather than the others. Or maybe after slight modification of the interventions or the approach that we adopted, we actually achieve things better. So what additional knowledge is required to do the work more effectively? So this is primarily is a process evaluation, but we actually cannot consider this question independently without looking at the outcomes or the immediate benefits of projects. Are there more cost-effective ways to achieve the project's objectives? So this is consideration of process, impact, and economy evaluation. Is there a better way of developing realistic goals, objectives in the initial planning stage? So this is not an impact evaluation questions. However, this is not important part of impact evaluation, but this is a really important part of the process evaluation to test, to inform future design and to inform any factors or issues that we need to consider during the planning stage. But we cannot modify these without considering the actual outcomes of the project. The last one is the use of evaluation results, and this is not about the impact and outcome, it's about when we finish the evaluation, produce a valid and good quality evaluation report, how can we use the results? Okay, so this is the purposes of the evaluation. Then you know impact and outcome evaluation only form a small part of the evaluation that we normally do or we should do for any projects and program and service. And you have looked at it before, then the basic understanding of evaluation, you can look overall, we have a goal that indicate the needs and the problems that need to be addressed and needs to achieve, to address problems to be solved. Then with the goal that it will guide the project, that including inputs, activities, and output. And this is what we need to evaluate. All those key inputs, key activities, and key outputs, they are the fundamentals that's going to generate short-term benefits. So key input activities and outputs are the core of process evaluation. Then with the required quantity and with the required quality, then we will see the generation of short-term benefits. Normally, they are realized immediately after the interventions. And I'm not saying after the project, because sometimes project can be in phases. The intervention will be provided in phases. So each phase of the intervention completed, you should see some benefits. They are the short-term immediate benefits. So all those immediate benefits, and to prove that we have achieved them, this process is called impact evaluation. So after the intervention is completed, after a period of time, then are those benefits still there? Have they been sustained? So we don't want to see is we invested time, for example, invested time and energy in helping people to quit smoking. So during the intervention phase, yet you see a reduction in cigarette smoking. But what you don't want to see is 6 months after that, have them pick up smoking again. So that means the benefits cannot be sustained. At least half the benefits, only half the benefits sustained. Then we have a question of cost effective. Okay. So the process of proving that the long-term benefits or the benefits we achieved have been sustained, we call them outcome evaluations. And this is the basic planning evaluation model, basic planning model, but you can see that how it sits. We have different resources allocated to different types of service or project. Then each type will generate various immediate benefits. And then those immediate benefits eventually will lead to the long-term benefits, and then will reduce the needs of the population, and then address the various factors, so reduce the costs, reduce the demand to the healthcare system and the burden to the healthcare system. Sorry, I'm recording it at home and the dog's barking. Someone's at the front door. Let's think about this. We've done a number of case studies, and two important, I think, case study you certainly will remember. One is the beginning of the semester, quiz question 1, we asked you to consider what the benefits, long-term and short-term benefits of completing a postgraduate study. Remember, one is the free vaccination project in the university campus. So let's think about, use these two case studies to think about the differences between impact and outcome evaluations. First questions, what are the benefits and changes that you can definitely achieve by the time you completed your postgraduate study? That means by the time you got your degree, not actually got your degree, by the time that you have finished all your courses, subjects, that benefits you should be able to see and measure it. So those many students saying that get a job. Well, if you haven't had past experience, relevant experience before, immediately after getting a degree, really unlikely you get a job offer as a result of the study. So then we can't see that. We will say that this is not immediate benefits of the study. And the study is not purely get you a job anyway. But if what you want to see is during the study you spend effort in networking with students, expanding your network, then you will see that you have a much more better understanding of the workforce, have a more productive networks to help you to look for a job in the future. That's likely, that could happen depending on the strategies you adopted. Okay, so think about that immediately after. That means you definitely can see that happen by the time you get a degree. The second one, so what are the benefits changes that the pilot free vaccination project can be achieved by the end of the project? So we did say the end of the project June 2019, but do you remember when the intervention should be completed? That's the end of second week of May, when free vaccination provision of free vaccinations ended. So when we looked at the impact evaluation, then the call will be by the end of May 2000 by the end of second week of May 2019, what are the benefits we can see? So that are the immediate benefits. So if you're thinking of save costs, we won't be able to see that until after the winter months. So this is not a immediate benefits. So you cannot list it as one of the objectives. And some will say that reduction of sick leave, no neither. Is not going to achieve the reduction of sick leave immediately after you have the vaccination, and it's not even winter yet. So they are not the immediate benefits you can see after you have received the free vaccinations. So what are the immediate benefits? I think I mentioned that before. Things like you have received the vaccination, then you are protected. You reduce your chance of developing into developing a flu in the winter months. Now, this likelihood you will achieve that immediately after the free vaccination. And the staff, academic staff, who have received free vaccination but who were reluctant to accept the vaccination in the past year, that means there are improved awareness and attitude toward toward vaccination. They might influence the family as well. So there's knowledge and attitude changed. Also the immediate benefits you can see. And also indirect benefit will be they might encourage the families to receive vaccinations elsewhere. So that's the indirect benefits immediately after the free vaccination project has been provided. So this is the short-term immediate benefits. Now go back to your postgraduate study. What are the benefits and changes that you can achieve 1 year after you complete your postgraduate study? You probably won't see developing a network because the network has already been developed. You're already gone. You left the university system, gone back to the workforce. Now that's the time you will see whether the study actually, the competence you developed and the skill, the knowledge you gain, you actually can utilize it in the workplace. So this is one thing you would like to see. And secondly, with the utilization of these, actually your chance of getting a new job, a job that you desire, has been increased. You may not get one, but in the past you did not have interview. Now you started to have interview and you get shortlisted. So these are some benefits. Also, you have a better clear outlook after working in the workforce in combination where you learn, after working at the workplace and in combination where you learn, you started to have a much better understanding of what the career looks like for you, what's most suitable for you. Okay. And you continue nurturing the network you develop, then you might see other benefits that you have been planning as well. So these are the longer term benefits directly relevant to the study that you completed. So number 4, think about the free vaccination project. So what are the benefits and changes that the pilot free vaccination project can be achieved? Now, the vaccination are provided by the end of second week of May, and then the project wrapped up by the end of May, so including writing reports and generating all the results. And the project is finished. And then winter month starts in June. So now, between June and August, what do you expect to see? We would like to see those academic staff who received the vaccination, free vaccinations, they're not getting sick. Or at least who got sick in the previous year, they don't get sick this year. And overall, the proportion of academic staff developed flu has been significantly reduced. So now this is not within the project period, but 3 months after that. But this is the major benefits we can see as a result of the intervention. And this is outcome evaluation. And also then because of reduction of sick leave and save costs as well. So this is part of the outcome evaluation, but this is indirect benefit because it's not to the target population, but reduction of sick leave is to the target population. So there's a number of things as well. And as a result of the report, the university decided to modify the design and decided to have a program from 2020 onward. Now this is a major benefit of your pilot project as well, and indirect benefit of the pilot project. So it is part of your longer term benefit that you have realized as a result of the project that form part of the outcome evaluation. Now, hopefully these 2 different cases and 2 different thinking help you to clarify, as differentiate the difference between impact and outcome evaluations. And some immediate benefit and changes we can see because they take less time to achieve, maybe, such as reduction of smoking rate, increase of immunization rate, weight loss, or improvement of patients' experience, or even satisfaction. And for longer term, and you can see that there are more complex factors involved and multiple factors involved. And this is for longer term. So likely in large programs or projects, likely they are the longer term, listed as the goal of your what you do, rather than the short-term benefits, the objectives. You know what to evaluate. The key for impact and outcome is not what you know what to evaluate, is how you're going to measure what you need to evaluate. So that's including developing indicators and determining where to collect those data and determining ways of measurements. So that including either use a quantitative measure or qualitative measures. Now, this has been explained in the textbooks, so I would like you to read the textbook, and also we also explained that in the process evaluation as well, and also when I explained the final assignments requirements, this all covers, so I would not spend more time to explaining what they are. I'm sure that in the past few weeks we covered them more substantially, but if you have questions, and that's a good time to ask when we are doing the quiz 5, then it's about the impact and impact evaluations, and feel free to ask questions there. So this is an example for measurement, quantitative and qualitative. So there's many ways of doing that. Most importantly is what is the best way according to the purpose of the evaluation, the question you answer, and also the time and resources that you have. Once data collected, and it's time to understand those data. Data do not tell a story. Only when you measure those data, translate those measurements into information, into a story, then we will understand what the data is trying to tell us. Now, so what we need to do is we need to use those data to answer a number of questions of what were the impacts and outcomes observed. So we will say that we have achieved this and we have achieved that, and partially or fully, or any other unexpected, unplanned benefits. Did the impact and outcome achieve the program objectives and goals? So in the interpretation of the data and information, we got to have this question in mind so that we know how we're going to use them. Did the program cause the impact and outcome? Were there any unintended positive impacts or outcomes, or were there any unintended negative impacts and outcomes? So this is the question we have in mind when we are looking at the data set that we have, and when we are using the information to generate the report. And this is the question definitely we need to answer, in addition to presenting the raw data analysis results. So the last point I want to make is about evaluability. Now, what's that about? When we're doing the process evaluations, the next question is, are we ready to conduct the impact evaluations? Well, there's no point if the project is not going well, if the intervention are not reaching the target population, or the intervention cannot be fully implemented. Do you think that we're achieving the benefits at all? Likely not. So, do you think that we still go ahead to do the impact evaluation? And of course, not. Because we are not producing benefit. If we know that we are unlikely to produce the benefit, then we are not going to conduct the impact evaluation. The purpose is not to prove we haven't achieved it. You can see it. But the purpose is want to prove we have achieved it to what extent and how well we have achieved it. Okay, so if the program is being implemented as per plan, then we'll say, well, yes, good. With the quantity and quality, then we'll say, yeah, we might be able to, should be maybe a good time to conduct the impact evaluation. If not, then we continue asking question, why not, instead of going into impact evaluation. When the process evaluation gives us a really positive answers of we have done everything we do and we plan to do within the quantity and with the quality, then we'll say we may be ready to move on to the phase of collecting data to measure the immediate benefits of the project. So let's do an exercise to see how well that you understand the differences between different type of evaluation. So if the major evaluation question is about what happened, is this what type of evaluation it is? What happened means what did we do? Did we do well? So this is a process evaluation. Was it implemented as planned? It's about what we do, so process evaluation. How could it be improved? It's about the project itself rather than benefits. So there's a process. How much service was provided? So this is not about the benefits and changes. Yes, so this is a process evaluation. What did the user think? So if the method is about getting subjective information from the users on the benefits and changes, then there could be impact because we are going to evaluate. We are evaluating the benefits as well. Okay. And if we are thinking of some tasks and steps, activities that we did, and whether it is satisfied with that, which has nothing to do with the benefits and changes that they experience, then is process evaluation. So this question could be process and impact. Was it fair and equitable? Is this something about the benefits? Yes, so this is impact. When we talk about fair and equitable, the benefits, this is impact evaluation. Did the users benefit? Of course, this is both impact and outcome. Could be the immediate benefits and the longer term benefits. Were the needs met? When the needs met, we meet the needs of the target population by producing long-term benefits, yes, sustainable long-term benefits. So this is an outcome. How much did it cost? Is this question relevant to benefits at all? So this is a process evaluation. Where the outcome was the costs. While process evaluation only answers the question of did we do well, how well we did that, did we do what we planned to do, did we encounter any difficulties, did we make modification, and impact looked at have we achieved the immediate benefits and long-term benefits, but nowhere that we're comparing the benefits and the money that we spend. So this is an economy evaluation. Did it cost the benefits and changes? Now, benefit and changes could be long-term and short-term, so they could be impact and outcome evaluation. Was it sustainable? Sustainable of the benefits that we have brought to the target population. This is outcome evaluation. So this is the exercise we do, and that's the end of the presentation for Module 4 on impact and outcome evaluation. And later this week, next week I'll record a video on economy evaluation, because that has nothing to do with the quiz number 5. So you focus on impact and outcome evaluation in the first week. Then we looked at a little bit on other forms of evaluation. Thank you for listening.